Well, welcome back to the channel, guys. Well, I'm just out testing the Super Duke. For those which saw, I've just fitted the Vandemon full system to my bike. Look at that, look at that. Ooh, looks absolutely lovely. And this is the initial sort of test ride. I'm not going to go far because it's only just dried out. I've been waiting to test this for about a week, just waiting for the weather because I'm not filthying my bike up. And so I've just got some juice. We're just going to give it a whirl. So far, just riding here very slowly, it seems absolutely delicious. I've got the baffles in and I'm really happy with the volume of the bike. In my installation video, I think, you know, as many pointed out, my dB meter was a load of junk. It's way louder than 70 dB, of course, but it's not obscene, it's reasonable, it's not too loud. Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah, could have flashed me out, couldn't you? What a misery. Oh, come on, this is ridiculous, isn't it? Hang on, let me get out of here. So yes, my dB meter was a piece of junk, eBay junk, so that's no good. You know, obviously it's louder than 70 dB, which is a shame. You know, spoiled my video, didn't it, not being able to get accurate decibel readings. I will test it properly at some point, but it seems pretty good. Now, I've installed the system without flashing the bike, so the baffles are in, as I said, but I have not mapped this bike, so I wanted to see how it was fueled, you know, with the standard mapping but with a full system. And that's, you know, one of the reasons I left the baffles in, because just to increase the back pressure a bit, so it's not even more free flowing. Get your teeth in, Chopsy. But yeah, so far it seems all right. It seems all right. Now, of course, got no alarms, I've got no warnings. That's great. That's one thing I was really concerned about, you know, if I was going to have loads of errors and warnings all over the bike. Doesn't seem to be. And the low end fueling actually seems pretty good. Now, of course, for Euro regulations, these bikes run really lean at the bottom end, and this is why the exhaust changes colour so quickly, even though I've been idling it, because they run super lean. And of course, with the exhaust, it's going to run super lean. Even though I guess the Lambda and the Euro 5 sort of fueling will adjust that low end fueling to keep it in that very lean mode. So I guess it won't be any worse. I guess the standard Lambdas, which I think are narrowband, so only adjusting the fueling below 4,000 revs or so, will be doing their stuff. So they'll be working out how the exhaust is flowing and adjusting that to keep that lower end lean, but hopefully not too lean. And I don't think bottom end leanness doesn't really matter. What destroys engines is when they're lean at the top end, when they're on full power. That's what destroys your engine, if you've not got enough fuel in it. So, I mean, like I say, this is just a little mini test. This isn't going to be a proper ride because it's getting dark and it's a bit wet, and I've given him all excuses, because what I don't want to do is obviously thrash this bike. That was my old neighbour. Thrash this bike before I've checked that the fueling it isn't running lean at the top end, because as I say, that will destroy an engine. So this is just going to be more of a bottom end town sort of fueling test. It perhaps doesn't feel quite as punchy as it did at the bottom end. So what I've been thinking, and I've been discussing a little bit with a company which makes an OFT tablet, so you can flash the bike yourself at home with one of their predefined maps, and I'm tempted to go down that route. And then what I'll do is OFT it, so flash it, put a map on which is equivalent to a full system on the Super Duke via this tablet. No, I'll do a whole video on it when it comes to do it. And that will... What is going on here? What's all this smoke? Has someone just done a burnout or something? Someone must have just done a burnout or something. I don't quite understand what that was. So yeah, that doesn't feel too bad actually. I was expecting it to feel, you know, a little bit worse than this. think it has lost a little bit of drive, possibly, which probably means it is a little bit too lean. So what I'm going to try, I think, is one of these OFT tablet mappings, and then I can go to a rolling road with it and just get them to check the fueling, then make sure it's all right, and then you can roll that back to standard yourself at home. You can just roll back the map and put the standard map back on, and the OFT I'm thinking of using, I don't know what OFT stands for, I'll put it on the screen, but the OFT I'm using, also it's sort of undetected. At quick glance it's undetected on the ECU that something's been done. If KTM Central want to go digging into the ECU and checking how many times the map's been changed, because every time we change the map there's like a little counter, so that the bike keeps a record of when a new map has been loaded, and of course if that doesn't tally with what KTM Central see, then there's, hang on a minute, this is an extra lap, you know, an extra map loaded, it's been tinkered with, there goes your warranty, Mr. Customer. But this system sort of tries to hide that little map count increase. I mean, like I say, if your local dealer looks at it, they may not notice, but if things go back to KTM Central and they've got a full export of the ECU, they're probably going to find something if they're really looking for it. But that's the thing, isn't it? If they're really, really looking for it, they may find it. So that's what I'm going to try on this bike. I mean, because I'm doing all this publicly, KTM's going to know I've been fanning with this bike because there's a record of it on YouTube. So, you know, I've sort of voided my warranty, haven't I, for the sake of my YouTube channel and to bring you this content, really. The only warranty which would be affected is the warranty of my engine. So if my wheels fall off, you know, that won't affect my warranty. It's only items which could have been impacted by messing with the fueling on your motorcycle. So if my engine melts because it's running too lean, that's my own fault because I've messed with it. You know, that's understandable, isn't it? They're not going to cover it if something you've done could have caused a problem, and that's basically what the warranty will be looked at. So if I have a failure of you know, fork seal starts leaking and I go to claim on my warranty, they're not going to say, hang on, you've had the bike mapped, you know, yeah, it's not covering your fork seal now. That's not how it works. So yeah, it's only if I get a catastrophic engine failure, which could have been caused by a map change, that things may be investigated a bit deeper. But hopefully that won't happen. But it sounds, the volume from it, I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but it sounds really nice volume with the baffles in. I think it's taken away any pops or bangs or sort of overrun pops with the baffles in. So I may try it with the baffles out in another video. But because it's, you know, not mapped, as I say, I want to keep things as much back pressure as possible until it's been on the dyno. But yeah, I'm happy with that. It actually rides okay at a lower end, you know. So I thought it may feel horrible and maybe even cut out and stuff if you didn't have it flashed. But it feels a little bit, not quite as punchy perhaps as it was. So it could be, you know, it could be something not quite right with the fueling. But I think if I get this OFT map, obviously it will be fueling perfectly, and I'll also pick up some extra performance then as well, you know, to make use of that free flowing system. Why can't I say that? Free flowing system. Ooh, it's a little bit of a wetty. Sounds brilliant. Doesn't sound too loud, you know, it's not obnoxious at all. It's got a really nice little tone actually, absolutely perfect. Absolutely just what I wanted. I didn't want it obnoxious. I didn't want to have to wear earplugs all the time when I ride the bike. I know you probably should anyway, but let's not go there. But I didn't want to have to do that. And yeah, that's a perfect amount of volume. I cannot open it up fully until the fuel is checked because obviously it's standard, so there'll be no full throttle thrashing in this video, not until that fuel has been confirmed. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. You're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for the full throttle thrashing. Doesn't sound that much different than standard. Oh, it's a bit more snarly out the back. I can hear the snarls from the back. It's also bloody rush hour as well. Our fun is going to be limited. I think with that little collector box as well, which offers a little bit of additional silencing with this exhaust, it's not too ridiculously loud. I didn't want a ridiculously loud bike. I don't like ridiculously loud bikes. I think this is just about perfect. I actually think it would be alright with the oh, it's a nice slippery. I actually think it would be alright with the baffles out. I'm going to try it with the baffles out as well. Thanks, buddy. I mean, even sort of 2,000 revs, it's not too, it's a little bit, when I have got it in sport mode, throttle response, I'd say it's not really any different to how it is standard, that low end fueling. Feels alright, maybe perhaps a little bit less refined, but certainly acceptable. There will be a couple more videos coming of the Super Duke, and one of them will be using the OFT to push a map to the bike to adjust the fueling. So I've not done that before. As I say, you can do that at home. You get sent like a little tablet thing, and then you control it with an app on your phone to push maps on and off and roll back maps. And I think there's a standard map, there's a map to keep the standard system, you know, but just increase the fueling, bypass the Euro 5 adjustments, and there's a map with a full system. It is the Acra system, I think, but I suspect this is very similar to the Acra system, and that's why we're going to go take it to a rolling road just to double check everything's okay. And yeah, so we'll go for that map as I've got a full system. So keep tuned, keep watching, and there will be that little video of the OFT and mapping the bike from home. So if that's of interest, you know what you've got to do: subscribe, like, all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one.